Imagine being face to face with a grizzly bear standing over 7 feet tall and weighing more than 600 pounds. The mere thought of it sends shivers down your spine. For Bob Legasa, however, this terrifying scenario became a reality. In this video, we'll share his harrowing tale of survival as he recounts his horrifying encounter with one of nature's most fearsome predators. Brace yourself for a true story that will leave you on the edge of your seat. But before we begin, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest content. And don't forget to leave a comment and let us know what you think. On October 13th, 2018, it was time to go hunting. Bob Legasa had spent his entire life as a hunter, and there was nothing he enjoyed doing more than being in the wilderness, removed from the hustle and bustle of modern life. The man, who was 57 years old, took pleasure in everything that the natural world had to offer. Being able to feel everything was the single best thing that could have happened. Legasa enjoyed everything about his environment, including the enchantments of nature and the sights, as well as the sounds, smells, and the opportunity to act on instinct. He went on a significant number of hunting trips. Because Legasa was providing for himself and his family by killing an animal, he experienced a sense of fulfillment and pride whenever he did so. In October of 2018, Legasa left his home in Hayden, Idaho, and traveled all the way to Montana for one purpose: to go elk hunting. This was not the first time he had done it. Early in the month of October, Legasa's good friend and fellow hunting guide in Montana, Greg Gibson, joined him. Gibson appeared in a film that was directed by Legasa, who was also a director. The two gentlemen distributed a short video in which Gibson demonstrates how to make effective use of bear spray. The video educated people on a number of topics that were very significant. Gibson cautioned the audience to be aware of their surroundings at all times. In addition to that, he emphasized the significance of making tactical use of bear spray. For instance, bear spray may still be effective even when used at a close range, but it is best to use it as soon as possible. Before it actually makes contact with the bear, this buys it enough time to seriously impair the bear's eyesight as well as its breathing and prevents it from charging. It was sound advice, and it demonstrated that both Gibson and Legasa were experienced professionals who were not making their first attempt at something like this. Gibson arrived at the hunting location that they had selected just outside of the unincorporated community of Gardner in Park County, Montana, which is close to Yellowstone National Park. The two men decided to go out and look for an elk herd. Killing a rutting bull elk is considered to be one of the most challenging activities for hunters. As the two men walked, they kept their eyes peeled around them and were cognizant of the fact that they needed to be on the lookout for even subtle indications that something had shifted. Being a hunter requires you to have sharp senses, which is one of the best things about being a hunter. When venturing out into the wilderness, it is important to remain cautious at all times, but you should also be prepared for the unexpected. Bob and Greg were making their way through some thick sagebrush when they were abruptly stopped in their tracks by a peculiar predator. There it was, a grizzly bear that weighed 500 pounds and had a cub that was 2 years old. It was standing about 36 feet away from the hunters. They were paralyzed with fear for an instant, unable to move a muscle. However, a young grizzly bear decided it too was terrified, which broke the enchantment. The young bear decided it was time to get out of the cup when it sat up on its haunches and made the decision. After that, it let out a terrifying growl, which caused the grizzly bear to charge directly towards Bob Legasa. Before Legasa could even get his bear spray ready, he and Gibson had to start yelling like crazy in order to drive the grizzly bear away. Legasa had the misguided belief that the grizzly bear was bluffing for a brief moment, but his assumption was incorrect. As time went on, it became abundantly clear that the sow's protective nature was operating at full capacity, and that it desired nothing more than to attack and kill Legasa, whom it perceived as a threat. Greg Gibson was close on Legasa's heels and only a few steps behind him. When his friend was being attacked by the bear, he didn't just stand there in shock like a statue. Instead of using the pepper spray, he took out his bear spray and fired one shot at the animal. Bear spray made it abundantly clear that the grizzly bear had ceased its attack on Legasa, but the bear did not immediately flee the area. However, the bear ended up changing its mind and going after Gibson. Greg Gibson was able to use the bear spray once more, and this time it was sufficient to frighten away the mother grizzly bear and her cub. The men were unharmed, but Bob Legasa was certain that he had broken his arm. Additionally, both of them had some of the chemical get into their eyes, and they were covered in blood. Legasa and Gibson continued their walk out of the area, even though a massive grizzly bear had just attacked them, leaving them partially blinded by the bear spray and covered in blood. Soon after the assault, the man continued to hunt in the same area. Legasa went to New York in February 2019, several months after the attack, for an interview with Animal Planet. The interview took place there. He went ahead and did this despite the fact that he was concerned the show would portray hunters in a negative light throughout the narrative. Legasa came to the conclusion that he required the platform in order to bring attention to a number of issues that he felt should be prioritized. He wanted to drive home the point that people hunt for a variety of reasons, none of which are inherently negative. Additionally, Legasa wanted to emphasize how essential it is to have bear spray on you at all times, as this should be your first line of defense. He explained that all it does is provide you with an alternative to shooting, which is something that can be said for Legasa in particular because the bear was on top of him. Gibson was unable to shoot the bear in a responsible manner without putting his friend in harm's way. The story of Bob Legasa's survival is an incredible demonstration of the power of human will and the resilience of the human spirit. He was able to hold his ground and defend himself against a grizzly bear using nothing more than a pocket knife, despite the fact that the odds were stacked against him. It demonstrates beyond a reasonable doubt that we must never, ever discount what it is that people are capable of accomplishing when their lives are on the line. When going out into the wilderness, especially in areas where there is a possibility of encountering wild animals, it is extremely important to have all the necessary supplies, and we should take the opportunity to remind ourselves of this. Thank you for watching Bob Legasa's story of his terrifying encounter with a grizzly bear. We hope you found this experience both captivating and educational. Remember, if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, it's important to remain calm, avoid eye contact, and slowly back away without turning your back on the bear. Always carry bear spray and be sure to familiarize yourself with the proper use before heading out into bear country. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more captivating stories. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.